Good morning, everyone. Welcome into this SEC Morning Report. I am Blayne Gilmer. This is Southeastern 14, your home for daily SEC football coverage. Also, basketball starting up as well. And before you know it, baseball will be going. Everything is covered right here on Southeastern 14 by myself, Chris Lee, Blake Lovell, Gavin Schoenwald. Jake Crane helps us out on Fridays here during the football season. We're got a live show tonight with Tavares King, Noshawn Marino, SEC legends in their own right. So, guys, there is so much going on here on the channel. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications. And also, if you want to be wagering on games, checking out what the odds, predictions, trends, all that kind of stuff in, then Bet Online is where you need to do it at. Guys, it's the last of the major pro sports leagues is off and running with college basketball and the NBA and everything going on. BetOnline remains your top spot for all your live betting action and contests, NFL, college football, UFC, NHL, which goes on forever. I don't know what the NHL season is like when it starts, when it ends. It seems like it goes all year long. People love it. Go bet on NHL if you'd like to do that. And if you understand the rules well enough, which I don't, and are all in full swing, guys. BetOnline is your number one source for your wagering news, odds, trends, predictions, all the hoops betting action, along with every sport available at your fingertips with both a desktop and mobile access at any time. Head over to BetOnline today and remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. And we're going to start off with talking about an alien. Yes, an alien, someone who is not human. That would be Brock Bowers. Because last night in the press conference with Kirby Smart, he does a Monday and a Tuesday press conference throughout the week. So in his Tuesday night availability after practice, he confirmed that Brock Bowers is running, as Forrest Gump would say. I mean, he is running on dry land. And this is a guy who's 3 or 4 weeks removed from the tightrope surgery. In the first week or two, when he couldn't really move or do anything, all of his superhuman powers that were in his ankle that weren't being used went up to his brain, and he became one of the academic players of the week for the Georgia Bulldogs. So you can't hide the greatness that exudes out of the young man. And now here's this quote from Kirby Smart that says, He's back at it, and he's getting closer and closer to playing. He said he's working hard. He's doing all he can in terms of trying to get himself into shape and get better. He's back running now, running on dry land, and he keeps getting better. That's kind of the MO of this injury. Every kid we've had who had it, week 1 they did this, week 2 they did this, week 3, week 4, he's right on schedule for what he's been doing. So that's news from Kirby Smart saying, hey, Brock Bowers is back running on dry land. His teammate, and this is all thanks to a story from Anthony Dasher at UGA Sports. They do a great job covering over there, but you can also check out the Kirby Smart press conference on many different, YouTube pages and things like that after each practice. This is from Marcus Rosemead-Jack saying his teammate, Brock's been looking good. I've been watching him. It seems like he's progressing fast. He's been running. I heard he hit like 19, 20 miles per hour on the GPS, something like that. He's progressing. He's looking to get back. We're excited to get him back because we certainly miss him on the field. We're just hoping and waiting. And I tell you what, guys, it sounds encouraging for Georgia that they're going to get their leading receiver back, their leader on the field that has been a part of these last couple of championships. I'm not saying they get him back for Ole Miss in a couple of days, but maybe that Tennessee game. And I've been saying all along that kind of is the target date there. That'd be 5 weeks. And I doubt he would come back for Georgia Tech. If he's going to come back, I think it's either going to be he's going to come back for the Tennessee game, or he's going to wait and come back for the SEC championship should Georgia get there. But the possibility, the fact that he's running, the fact that he's hitting speeds of up to 20 miles per hour, according to his teammates, which he heard it from, training staff and people like that, that is remarkable for Georgia. And you got to realize, hey, the Georgia Bulldogs haven't really slowed down offensively without Brock Bowers either. They've been able to hit Ladd McConkey, hit Dominic Lovett. Rod Thomas has emerged a little bit. Marcus Rosemy-Jackson, his teammate that commented on that injury for Brock Bowers, he stepped up and caught some big passes as well. So they have been able to integrate and get confidence in a bunch of other weapons. And now if they're able to progress forward and continue to do what Georgia is supposed to do, then they'll be able to put back Brock Bowers back into the equation and be all the stronger for it. They're also getting Amaris Mims back off of this injury, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him playing this week. He was ready and able to go the last 2 weeks. So if he proves in practice that he's better than Xavier Truss at that right tackle position, then he'll be back in there at right tackle, and Truss could move back to left guard, or maybe Dylan Fairchild is at left guard. Who knows? But Georgia is getting stronger. Georgia's getting more healthy. The Jamon Dumas-Johnson thing on the other side is a deal where, hey, you're going to lose an experienced guy, okay, in Jamon Dumas-Johnson, and a great player. However, you may be trading experience for added athleticism, because Raylan Wilson is an absolute freak. C.J. Allen is a freak. Obviously, Jamon Dumas-Johnson is a tough ball player, and he, is a great leader for Georgia, understands the defense, makes calls, things like that. But C.J. Allen has played all year. He's got an opportunity to step up into an even bigger role. He is a freak athlete, and Raylan Wilson is like a super freak. I mean, he's a guy that he can really, really run. May end up being when you look back at things, all of a sudden it may end up being the best player overall in the recruiting class from last year that arrived in January as mid-year guys. So just something to keep your eye on. Georgia getting healthier, Georgia getting more options. Brock Bowers back running, and we'll see how that transpires going forward. Now, guys, I want to look at 4 programs who are not in a chase for an SEC championship, who are not in the college football playoff race, but they're SEC teams that have a lot at stake here for the rest of the season. I'm talking about the Florida Gators, the Arkansas Razorbacks, the Auburn Tigers, and the South Carolina Gamecocks. South Carolina and Arkansas are both in a position that they need to win out in order to play in a bowl game. For South Carolina, that is very, very important, because they have a lot of young players that it would be terrific for Shane Beamer and that staff to be able to get 15 extra practices with, to be able to mold them a little bit more before this season is over with. And, especially with how, Spencer Rattler is going to be moving on from the program, just more practices to develop. Okay, is it going to be Sellers behind him that becomes the QB next? What's gonna happen? Definitely, Luke Doty would probably be out of the picture as well. He's old enough. I don't even know if he's got eligibility to be able to return. So maybe Sellers might be the option going through there, and they could start working on some packages, some different things for him in bowl practice if they're able to do that. Spencer Rattler could, elect to sit out the bowl game altogether as he prepares for the NFL. So that would be a huge time of preparation for the future for Shane Beamer and company if they could make a bowl game. Here's what they have to do to be able to make a bowl game. They got to beat Vanderbilt at home. They would have to beat Kentucky at home, and they'd have to beat Clemson at home. So you have 3 opportunities in Williams-Brice Stadium to be able to do that and give yourself an opportunity to have those extra practices to develop guys like Sellers, guys like Nick Harbor out there at receiver, and really help him, just a dedicated time, because during the season you're so prepared trying to get ready and things like that. Sometimes you can't just take the time you need to really develop certain things with guys, because you're trying to game plan. You're trying to go through and work on different things with different people, different position groups that are taking up a lot of time, and you're not able to move at maybe a more methodical pace like you can sometimes in bowl preparation. That would be huge for South Carolina. It would also be huge for the Arkansas Razorbacks. They're in the same boat. They got to win out to have a bowl game. But the thing about this with Arkansas is it wouldn't be so much, okay, hey, the extra bowl practices and all that kind of stuff, although they would be in the same boat with KJ Jefferson is going to be moving on. And then you've got, you got opportunities there behind him for a quarterback to emerge and things like that. However, what this would mean is, okay, you can take a stretch of losing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight games. And if you're Sam Pittman, you can point back and say, hey, I got rid of Dan Enos. Our offense changed. Our team responded. We did this, this, and this during our bye week to check things off. And then we came out and we beat a Florida team on the road and then proceed to go on and win 3 home games to end the year off. So just like South Carolina does, Arkansas has 3 home games to kind of close this thing out and try to show, hey, we just won 4 in a row. We finished with 7 wins after 6 straight losses. This is a team that can respond. They still respond to Sam Pittman. We're going to be fine going forward. Here's why, all this kind of stuff. It is just really a marker to say, hey, there is confidence here. There's momentum here going into the offseason, and that would be huge for this Arkansas program. Now, I'm not saying Sam Pittman's going to get fired if he loses one of these games and is not going to get bowl eligible, but it looks a whole lot better if you got an opportunity to finish above 500, especially with some of the just crazy losses, the close games that they lost on the road in 3 out of 4 weeks there in a stretch, actually 5 out of 6 weeks when you talk about Mississippi State even being close. They just couldn't score offensively. So the way that they went about losing those games and then to make a change in Enos, which, hey, I don't know that, and Sam Pittman himself said it's not that Dan Enos can't coach ball. Sometimes apparently the guys just don't mesh with guys personality-wise, which is, I think, more of what it was. And then Sam Pittman, got to the point where he felt, hey, I've got to step up and I've got to take over the situation and kind of dictate to an offensive coordinator what I want to see more and make sure that happens. So that's what happened, and they played a whole lot better. Yeah, the bowl practices would help Arkansas too, but I think it would just help Sam Pittman, bolster his case for, one, remaining the head coach at Arkansas, which I think at some points was in doubt this year, and 2, it would just be great momentum going into the offseason if they could finish out with five straight wins. You go from 2-6 to 7-6, and winning a bowl game would be humongous there for Arkansas. The Auburn Tigers, they have an opportunity. Okay, they have an opportunity under Hugh Freeze in year 1 to win 8 games. They're at 5-4 right now. They play that Arkansas team at Arkansas. The reason that's big is because if you look at the Hugh Freeze era, yeah, they've won at Vandy and they won at Cal. I don't think either one of those you consider a banner road win. They need something that they can plant their flag in on the road, a road victory, and look back and say, hey, that is where we learned that this program was going in the right direction. That road win in the SEC West, and a talented opponent, an opponent in Arkansas that we know has talent because they barely lost to LSU, to Alabama, to Ole Miss in nail-biting games. We were able to go on the road a week after they went on the road and beat Florida, go in there to Fayetteville, and we grew up as a team and won that football game. That is what Hugh Freeze can look back at, and those are cornerstones for programs. When you're able to get quality road wins as a program, and you're able to do it early on, year 1 for Hugh Freeze, that would be monstrous. And it also gives them a lot of momentum going into those last 2 games with a New Mexico State team that don't sleepwalk against them, because you saw what happened with Jacksonville State and South Carolina. New Mexico State can play a little bit. They got an athletic quarterback over there, so don't sleepwalk on them at home, especially with the Iron Bowl the next week. But if everything went right, if the ball bounced Auburn's way and they were able to create the opportunities and take advantage of them here in these last 3 games, they could finish with 8 wins in the regular season And Hugh Freeze, in my opinion, would be the SEC Coach of the Year, no doubt. From the train wreck that he took over to winning 8 games in a regular season, if they were to upset Alabama in the Iron Bowl, that would be humongous. I mean, absolutely humongous for that program going forward. And then a chance to win a ninth in a bowl game. Come on, are you kidding me? With literally having one hand tied behind his back, it seemed at times, with how Auburn's offensive personnel has been this year. Tremendous coaching job if that were to happen. Tremendous coaching job. So I think Hugh Freeze has this program going in the right direction. They're recruiting well right now under him. He's getting that operation back up and running. But I think this would be a humongous deal for Auburn should they be able to go on the road and have that cornerstone type victory, that place where they can plant a flag and look back to it and say, hey, that's where it started, our success, being able to win a tough game like that. They almost had it a couple of times, earlier this year where they were able to go back and do it. You think about Georgia, but that was at home. They had Georgia at home on the ropes. That would have been a flag planting moment. They had Ole Miss. They were playing really well against Ole Miss in that game. That would have been an opportunity to plant a flag and move forward from it. And I think there were things that they can take from those experiences. But now go do it on the road in Fayetteville and have something to point back to. I think that is a interesting deal there. And then the Florida Gators. Graham Mertz has been about as good as you could have asked him to be this year. The defense has let Florida down tremendously at times. It was a just poor level of execution, bad tackling in space against Arkansas, and dropped that game at home. Listen, this Florida roster is nowhere where it needs to be in terms of, being able to take on this schedule that Billy Napier has every year. Because next year, go look, the schedule's not going to get any easier. And now, they needed that Arkansas victory, because after losing to Georgia, okay, they were 5-3 with 4 games remaining. Had to win one of those 4 to become bowl eligible. And we've talked about the benefits of being bowl eligible there. It's recognition for the program, get to go to a bowl game, all this kind of stuff. But those extra practices matter, especially when you got young players you're developing. And now to accomplish that, to achieve that goal, you got a murderous last 3 games scheduled against you that you have to go take on at LSU in Death Valley right here this week. And then the next week at Como to take on Missouri, and then Florida State at home. All 3 teams that at different points in the year have been in the college football playoff discussion, have been teams that people are like, hey, are these teams that we're looking at playing as good as anybody in the country? There's been conversation around the teams that they're going to be playing. So it does not get easy here in the stretch run when they're trying to get bowl eligibility. You would think most of the time, hey, we got 4 games to win 1. That's pretty easy. We can take care of that. But not when you got these kind of opponents. So we need to see, especially with 2 games on the road, can Billy Napier, the offensive line for Florida, and then also those running backs, Montrell Johnson and Trevor Etienne, find ways to help Graham Mertz out, provide some balance, and run the football on the road over these next 2 weeks. See if they can come up with a victory. I think when you're talking about LSU, we need to see if Jaden Daniels is going to be able to play. He's in concussion protocol. Who knows what's going to go down there? Garrett Nussmeier, if he's playing, we know that he's immensely talented. We saw him light up Georgia like a Christmas tree in the second half of the SEC championship last year and play really well for them. He has a rocket for an arm. He's super talented, but probably start at most programs in the country if he wasn't at LSU behind Jaden Daniels. However, it would be his first start this season. Florida is very aggressive defensively under Austin Armstrong, so I'm sure they would like to, pressure him, try to get after him. He's not as good of an athlete as Jaden Daniels in terms of escapability. He's still very athletic, and he's not a statue by any means, but he's not, the just slippery, elusive guy that Jaden Daniels is, and that can hurt you, over and over again with his legs. So that would be an opportunity for Florida if Jaden Daniels is not able to play. And then after that, guys, I don't know. I mean, Como, we'll see what Missouri looks like bouncing back from the loss to Georgia. They play Tennessee this week, so there could be after back-to-back games at Georgia and at home versus Tennessee, there could be a little attrition there. There could be some mental and physical fatigue for Missouri there. So a chance for Florida. And listen, Graham Mertz just has to continue to do what he's done. Like I said, if you knock Graham Mertz, and listen, I was one of them that highly doubted the amount of success he would be able to have at Florida after his time at Wisconsin. But when you look at the results and you just look at what he's done, I mean, he's done about everything he can do with a limited wide receiving core and sometimes a running game that has disappeared on him at different points in time. So they're going to have to help that man out. The defense is going to have to be able to find ways to get LSU off the field on third down. So that way, you know, Florida has more possessions, more opportunities there at LSU, and we'll see if they can come out with a victory there. But guys, you know, we've done our previews and predictions on all the big matchups and things like that. Tomorrow is going to be a show me something Thursday. We're going to look at individual players or maybe position groups for each team that we need to, you know, see stand up and show a little something this week if their team wants to pull out a dub. So make sure you're tuned in for that. Like I said, tonight I've got a live show, 8:30, players section with Tavares King and Noshawn Marino, former SEC and NFL legends in their own right, guys who have played in Super Bowls and playoff games and conference championship games and all the like there. So come hear their perspective on everything going on in college football tonight, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, right here on the channel. Make sure to remember we are presented by Bet Online. You can check out all your wagering, you know, news, trends, predictions, and get your odds over there at betonline.ag. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Make sure that you check out the Daily Show with Chris Lee and Gavin Schoenwald here a little bit later as they'll be live. So like I said, turn on those notifications. You'll know when this channel goes live, and we are your home for daily SEC sports coverage. So for everybody at Southeastern 14, I'm Blayne Gilmer. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you tomorrow for more SEC coverage right here at Southeastern 14.